So I'm gonna be doing about 25 milligrams a day. Not about, I'm doing exactly 25 milligrams a day for like 11 and a half weeks, so about 3 months. I got like 2,000 milligrams of this stuff.
What's up guys, Derek, moreplace108.com. Today we're going to be reacting to I'm Hopping on Cycle by Connor Murphy. Not natural in the thumbnail with Jesse James West looking shocked at what he's holding. Evil smirk with the meanest tricep fucking horseshoe flex of all time. This is obviously, definitely super legit. He's definitely revealing a big, anabolic stack here. Actually, who knows, dude? You never know with this guy. Maybe he's deciding to, okay, what is the likelihood he's actually doing some shit? Probably fucking low. But we remember, this is the enlightened guy that is super transparent about everything now, except his anabolic use for whatever reason. Back in a few years back, hey, he had the pinnacle, his peak physique of all time. He ended up regressing quite significantly, chalked it up to fucking finasteride use and other nonsensical things like bulking and lighting and blah, blah, blah. And his physique has never got back to where it was in his peak, heyday of using supposedly just Austrian and MK677, which he also basically lied about for years, and then came out later when he was enlightened that he had actually used MK and Austrian, but the most unnatural thing he's ever taken is finasteride. So anyway, he's sort of like a half fake natty at this point. I don't know, it's fucking weird. Like the guy is enlightened, but still, tells half truths about shit and kind of just like holds back. And even when he tries to come out with, deep dive, big reveal videos about his anabolic use, he does it all cryptically and, makes weird fucking, roundabout excuses about shit. And it's just weird. Like if you're enlightened truly and give a fuck about any of this, you would just straight up say shit. You wouldn't be cryptic and weird about it. You would just straight up be like, yeah, I did this, this is what I got out of it, and this is why I stopped, and this is why my physique does not look the same as it did back, years ago when I was only, a few years into lifting. And then, when I kept going, despite the fact that my entire fucking lifestyle was designed around having a good physique for videos, it regressed because of this reason. Like you would have no problem saying that, but alas, he does not say it still to this day. Fucking wild. So let's see exactly what he says here. I'm hopping on cycle.
Yo, Connor, there's a vegan protein shake. What are you doing, buddy?
Dude, I'm just flexing, man. What do you think of the gains? I think they're coming back. I think they're looking good.
I mean, like tricep looks good, but I feel like you're kind of small. Like you need size.
Those guys always had great triceps, Like this guy, every time, he does a, physique reveal, whatever, he puts his meaty ass fucking tri on the side of his body. And that's fine, that's great. But when you try and like make it sound like a divine protein shake is what got you your gains back, and you've been noticing, super physiological fucking anabolic activity because you ingested somebody else's semen, like no, bro. Like, come on. We all know your physique was at its peak back in the beginning of your YouTube. What was it, 2016 or some shit? And then there was a regression, and then you never got back there. And there's a reason for that. There's a fucking reason for it. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to another video. As you just saw, Mr. James Jesse East just called me small. He is the reason that I'm making this video. It's one thing for all the haters online, say I'm losing my gains, call me small. But it's another thing when someone so aesthetic, someone so well respected in the bodybuilding community, makes fun of my size. And so, because of Mr. James Jesse East, I'm hopping on some stuff.
So yeah, it's kind of a shame that you can't even be in this industry without people being like, you do fucking anything. Anything, bro. They're like, what happened? You look like shit. What the fuck happened? You fucking fell apart. It's like for Connor, I get when his entire physique was like revolved around his videos. He would show up shirtless, and that was what his entire like shtick was. And he's basically lying about what happened. I can get why people are on him about that, but like this is, I don't know. Like you see it all over the place, dude. It definitely takes a mental toll on some of these influencers. Maybe Connor's more resistant to it. Maybe he's so enlightened that it doesn't fucking get to him. Although, he's acting like he is right now, which is, obviously a part of his, famous acting. But there are a lot of influencers who have crazy physiques, and you'd be surprised like how mentally affected they get by comments in the comment section about, you look small or you look soft or whatever. Like top guys, like even Joe Aesthetics has talked about how, it sucks to hear that kind of shit. He's, one of the most aesthetic guys in the industry. And when his physique regresses a little bit because he gets injured or, he, wants to go off diet for a little bit or whatever, and he's not walking around fucking the striking distance of stage ready, dumb fuckers in the comment section are like, what happened, bro? You look filled. Things are not as good as they used to be. It's like, do you think the guy's not aware when he's not, in his prime fucking condition? Like his entire fucking physique is what dictates, like his social media and shit, So anyways, like Conor's no stranger. He's probably had the most comments about his physique changing over the years, so he's probably developed a pretty thick skin to it. But it's a bit unique in that the guy had a lot of roundabout excuses to, explain it in the past that were kind of nonsensical. So anyways.
I'm wearing this tiger shirt today because this is the last day that I'm a giant pussy. Tomorrow, I'll be hopping on some stuff and making some serious gains. What is that compound that I'm going to be hopping on, or compounds? Wait till the end of this video to find out.
Divine protein shake in the fucking rectum, bro.
I wish that I could tell you that I would be hopping on some testosterone or some trenbolone sandwiches, but unfortunately I'm very concerned about my health. Health is my number one priority. I want to feel good in my base state, right? And also the zombie apocalypse is absolutely coming.
Yeah, so I can definitely say, like, this is an individual who should stay away from androgens. This is, not somebody I think that would tolerate them really well, or, if there's ever like a volatile, like mental state, that person should probably steer clear of things that could exacerbate that to some extent. I don't know what he's, if things are cleared up now and he's, totally at peace and he's not, doing the whole, I don't know, like pushing the, the acting thing super hard now, or what the deal is with what's going on with him recently, but it's good that he's not fucking hopping on trend. Not that I was expecting him to, but it's good that he's not.
And I'm afraid that I won't be able to get testosterone from a doctor when the zombies take over all the hospitals. And then I'm going to be suppressed because it's going to suppress my natural testosterone. And then I won't have enough energy to escape the zombies. So you see, it's not a good time to be on testosterone, right?
What the fuck? That's like being like, I don't know, that argument is always kind of interesting to me. People are like, I don't want to rely on anything. I'm like, you rely on like fucking food and water, dude. Like you rely on so much shit that you probably don't even think about, just because something like an oil that you have to inject into your ass. By the way, I'm not promoting and saying you should be okay with it, but I'm just saying, like, when it comes to like medications and shit and being like reliant upon them, I don't know. Like there's a lot of, you're reliant on literally breathing air, Is that, a direct comparison that's super like on par relatable? No, not necessarily, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of shit you will die from much faster than you not having your test injection. And if there's a zombie apocalypse, are you gonna have access to like fucking everything you need, on a whim? Are you gonna have access to food, on just super easily, and food and clean water at all times, despite the fact that, carrying around a vial of what am I doing? I'm trying to compare carrying a vial of test to fucking having access to food and water. At the end of the day, dude, test lasts a while. And if you have a prescription for it and it's legitimate, like, I would not be neglecting taking care of low test levels if you actually had a medical warranted reason to take TRT because you think a fucking zombie apocalypse is coming. Obviously, like what a ridiculous reason to say you should not be on TRT. Now, he's probably talking about it in a performance enhancing context, but again, it's just like dumb to even say to begin with. Like, this whole thing.
So, during this whole cycle of mine, I'm going to be vegan, right? Vegan diet, not too much protein, about 0.6 grams of protein per day per pound of body weight. I'm going to be doing a push-pull leg split. That's where I made the most gains, and we're going to see what happens.
So what are you taking?
Very excited. We're going to see if I can actually make some gains back. I'm sitting right at 200 pounds right now. I'll show you how I'm looking. At the moment, I've definitely made some gains back since my 40-day fast, but obviously there's some more to go.
So he looks good. The guy always looks good. He's genetically blessed, and I don't doubt that he will look very good at the end of his, little, cycle of doing fucking, working out naturally, being on a vegan diet. Just the fact of adhering to something scheduled and regimented will get him a lot of his muscle memory, kicked in and recover a lot of that lost size probably. Is it going to get him to fucking peaked Conor Murphy, 2016, whatever it was though? Probably not, if he's not willing to expose himself to the same shit.
Not too much, I'm about 10 pounds of muscle away from my prime. It's really not that much, but 10 pounds of muscle, well, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's quite a bit. When you see 10 pounds of muscle on someone, yeah, it's quite a bit. But anyway, what am I hopping on? Lauren, should I tell them what I'm hopping on?
Yes.
Do you approve?
Yes, I approve.
Oh, she's all about it. She thinks I'm small as well. She told me she hasn't been as attractive to me as she used to be.
No, I never said that.
So that's also one of the reasons why I'm hopping on this. Because
Megadose spermidine, bro.
I just don't feel that attractive anymore, man. I feel like a little skinny bitch. Anyway, MK677. All right, that's a growth hormone secretagogue. If you looked at my last video I did about the whole natty...
Damn, dude, he's actually taking something. I'm surprised. I thought this was just going to be like, I'm going to take fucking fenugreek or something. Or I'm going to take fucking Tonkat Ali, and it's not even going to be in supplement form. It's going to be like direct, like I'm going to eat a fucking like root. I'm just going to like eat a fucking tree right in front of you on video. Like that's what I thought. That's what I thought this was going to be. Or Divine Protein Shake. I thought, that was the most effective thing before. Like, what happened to that, bro?
Not scaling what I've taken in the past. I have taken it in the past. And most people would consider it not natural. I'm not attached to being natural. All right? I'm telling you, I wish that I could hop on some testosterone and just get huge and my health wouldn't suffer. And I'd love to be not natural, right? You can call me not natural. I don't give a fuck. But is MK677 actually not natural? Well, what it does, it increases your natural growth hormone production. So it's about on the same level as a powerful like testosterone booster. So it's not some sort of exogenous hormone. It's actually a substance that increases the production of a natural hormone, right? And that's why it's really healthy. Really what it does is it improves your sleep quality. It makes you a little more hungry, burns a little more fat, builds a little more muscle.
You can actually argue it inhibits sleep quality when you actually look into ghrelin receptor agonism and how it can put you in a state of like fight or flight essentially. Like if you see some of the rodent data, then it implies it's like a self-induced state of PTSD when you take high doses of a ghrelin receptor agonist chronically. If you're gonna take this shit, I would take it away from bedtime, Connor, by the way. That is my recommendation because this is not functioning simply through like enhancing your fucking pituitary, rather it's working through agonizing the ghrelin receptor. This is why you get so hungry when you use it. It is not simply a result of it's maximizing my growth hormone production. It's like, yeah, as a consequence of fucking stimulating the shit out of the ghrelin receptor, which has other satellite interactions in the body that overlap with stress response.
And improves your overall well-being. I mean, growth hormone it's a great hormone. I mean, you know what I mean?
And MK in particular too is a little bit more problematic in that it leads to very high blood sugar levels. It can be a lot easier to develop insulin resistance on it, especially concurrently with the fact that it's making you very, very hungry, where you end up overeating a lot of the time. And again, the stress response of having the ghrelin receptor agonize, around the clock perpetually for weeks and weeks on end, what is that going to do to you? What's that do to your brain chemistry? Like, I don't know. I don't know if this is, like, why not just use, like, straight fucking G, bro? Like, why not? I don't know. Like, it's not like I have a problem with MK. Like, I think it definitely has its place. But for him specifically, like, I think he is deferring to it because he knows it's, like, increasing his natural production. That's what he likes the idea of, is enhancing natural endogenous output of these hormones rather than relying on an exogenous source and kind of, putting himself in a position of blatantly unnatty as well as shutting something down. But like at the end of the day, even if you're using like HCG, you're like stimulating your Leydig cells and therefore it's your balls actually producing test. Yeah, totally. It's as natural as it gets with intratesticular testosterone production totally maxed out. But you have so much negative feedback to your hypothalamus pituitary gonadal axis that you're actually not having any gonadotropin output whatsoever as a consequence of this Leydig cell stimulation. So it's, super natural, but upstream, you have a bunch of shit shut down that's not natural. Just like with this ghrelin receptor agonist, it's not necessarily like the most natural thing. And that's fine. Like, it seems like he says he's not attached to the whole natty versus unnatty thing now, which is cool. But I don't necessarily know that using this would be like Like, I don't know. Like, I guess your choices are pretty fucking limited when you're trying to avoid stuff that's going to shut down your HPTA specifically. But let's continue.
And it doesn't suppress your natural growth hormone. So the reason why I'm hopping on this is because I consider it probably the most healthy, unnatural thing you could do, in my opinion, right? And it doesn't suppress anything, so I don't have to worry about having low levels when I can't get something from the doctor and dying from getting eaten by zombies, right?
Keep a blood glucose monitor on hand, bro, and just check that shit. And you tell me if it's the most healthy version of something you could be using.
So I'm going to be doing about 25 milligrams a day. Not about, I'm doing exactly fucking 25 milligrams a day.
What the fuck? It's pretty aggressive.
For like 11 and a half
It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course I'm doing 25 milligrams. Fuck you guys.
weeks, so about 3 months, I got like 2,000 milligrams of this stuff. And we're going to see what happens. So hopefully I gain a little size back. But anyway, just wanted to keep you updated.
Will he gain size back? Yeah, it's going to help, you know. He's going to blow up like 5 to 10 pounds of like temporary weight within the first week probably. Like this stuff. If you've ever used it, you'll know like the intramuscular kind of like fullness that you get from this stuff off the bat. And a lot of individuals is quite substantial concurrently with the appetite stimulation that makes you eat your fucking house. You know, you're going to gain size. Is it necessarily going to be ideal, you know, stacking on slabs of contractile tissue? You know, not necessarily. When you're using something that's fully functioning through a growth hormone vector, are you going to be accruing, you know, significant amounts of contractile protein and, you know, causing super physiological amounts of muscle protein synthesis? Like ideally you would be having some sort of anabolic agent stacked alongside it to get like real, you know, myonuclei accrual out of this shit rather than just, you know, stimulating your appetite, getting some temporary weight improvements, getting more leverage in the gym. Like, yeah, it's gonna it'll make a difference. It'll make him look a bit bigger. It'll give him a bit more leverage in the gym. It'll make him, you know, maybe have anecdotal, you know, change in sense of well-being to some extent, you know, seeing himself a bit bigger and whatnot. Is it going to actually like bank up new myonuclei and cause like, you know, a significant amount of, you know, actual like lean muscle growth? Honestly, I don't really see the utility of using like growth hormone vectors like in men like on their own. It's not like they don't do anything. Like I'm not saying that at all. Like especially for women, you know, when they are trying to avoid the use of like straight up anabolic androgenic steroids, you know, one of the first go-to main things that makes sense is stuff in the growth hormone vector because it's, you know, non-androgenic, non-viralizing, non-suppressive, blah, blah, blah. But is it going to like move the needle in a significant context for him? I don't know, like cosmetically, sure it might, but is it going to accrue? Like, is he going to get back to where he was with this shit? No, he's not, like at the end of the day. I'd love to see him get back to where he was before, you know, that'd be cool. But I mean, I don't think that's going to happen unless he uses the same shit he used back in the day.
And then after this, if it goes well, I might hop on something else. I was thinking of some testosterone or something like that. Some other more healthy, but probably something you guys would consider unnatural. And then we'll move up from there. You know, we'll see.
Okay, Connor. I will send you a full fucking cycle of testosterone and ecdysterone. We're releasing a complex version of ecdysterone soon, and it is designed with the exact same hydroxyl-propyl beta-cyclodextrin complex that we designed the Turk with. You can try it out, dude. You know, let us know what you think, if it helps at all. And like, obviously, you know, with me being the guy who's saying like, is it going to get you back to your baseline physique? Like personally, I don't think so, you know, but it'll certainly, you know, move the needle in a non-suppressive aspect. It seems to have no significant impact whatsoever on lipid parameters, metabolic parameters, hematology, gonadotropin output. Like it's non-suppressive, non-hepatotoxic, non-nephrotoxic. Like it seems very, very benign and innocuous and like relatively effective for like a natural agent. It's not going to be as effective as presumably whatever you used back in the day, but it'll move the needle more in an aspect that is non-hormonal, although it is kind of hormonal because it is interacting with estrogen receptor beta. So, you know, like how, like when you want to define what's natural versus not, like, I don't know, like the fucking lines get blurred. Like I guess with ecdysterone, testosterone, is it unnatural? Like, you know, with him, his argument for what's unnatural is so so vague at this point that like, who knows? But it seems like he doesn't care anymore, so that's cool. But, you know, I would definitely, from like a general perspective of the, you know, average layman, I would say ecdysterone and testosterone are considered natural. They're still, you know, not banned by WADA. You can use them in, you know, literal competitive sports where you can barely even fucking use caffeine. Like that's how, you know, benign they're seen by WADA. So, or just, you know, not thoroughly evaluated yet in this kind of a setting. But yeah, dude, if you want to try that, you know, on top of your MK, you know, fucking hit me up and I'll send you a full cycle's worth. You know, enough to actually see like what you would get out of it. You know, you can decide if you want more after that. Maybe you'll respond better to Turk versus Ecdy. You never know. You know, ideally you would try both at separate times, you know, get a sense of how your body responds to one or another. But yeah, like what else can you do to move the needle from a natural context? Creatine, obviously a no-brainer. Injectable L-carnitine, totally natural. Amino acid, like why, that could work too. Is it the most potent thing in the world? Is it going to, you know, make a substantial fucking difference? You know, it is at the end of the day just a derivative of an amino acid, but it does seem to improve body composition outcomes, you know, when trying to, like even for enhanced guys, it seems to actually move the needle in terms of maintaining a leaner body composition whilst, you know, gaining size. Can help with lipid mobilization and whatnot, can actually help with fat burning to some extent, especially depending on the context used. But that could be something to move the needle too. I'm just thinking of things off the top of my head that are totally natural. I don't know. Fuck. You know, there's a lot of some of the pre-workout ingredients, like I guess you could argue they have body composition impacting effects, although I would say negligible at the end of the day. I think creatine's the biggest needle mover in that equation. I don't know, off the top of my head, that's all I can really think of. I've definitely done videos on this where I kind of deep dove into all the different options. Maybe that was more in a female enhancement context, so maybe that, you know, I kind of leaned into delving into, you know, DHEA and whatnot, which is kind of irrelevant for men, does not increase total or free test levels substantially whatsoever. Whereas paradoxically for women, it's very, very fucking impactful in that regard. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else, but yeah, MK, see how it goes. You know, you'll definitely notice a cosmetic difference, a bit more, you know, lubrication essentially in the gym, more leverage, might enhance your lifts, might enhance recovery to some extent. Also, you know, injury proof you a bit more. Definitely keep an eye on your blood glucose, dude, though. It's not the most benign thing that you might think it is, as well as the stress response aspect is not to be totally overlooked. I would definitely consider your timing of it, and I would not be putting it right before bed, because I think you're probably thinking, oh, this is a growth hormone product, I gotta take it right before I go to sleep. I would be very, very suspect to see what your Oura Ring or, you know, fucking Whoop or whatever it is that you're using to check your, you know, sleep metrics. I'm sure you probably have something because you're into the biohacking stuff to check what your sleep metrics are like before and after using it. I would recommend dosing it in the morning if you're gonna be using it. And then, yeah, you know, the Ecdy and Turk, hit me up. I'll send you some free shit, bro. Let me know. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, check my blog, moreplates18.com. Follow me on Instagram, @moreplates18, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below. My TRT clinic, all telemedicine from the comfort of your own home. We are fully capable of servicing you until the zombie apocalypse, apparently, at which point, if you're on TRT, you're just fucked. But until then, we're open for business. So check us out. Gorilla Mind, nootropic formulas, Gorilla Mode, pre-workout formulas, design myself from scratch, recommended diet model for gaining muscle and sports performance whilst being mindful of micronutrient intake, gut health, sleep hygiene, electrolyte intake, a lot of things that are commonly neglected by cookie cutter influencer diets, sold on Instagram and shit, as well as things like even like thyroid health, like how many, you know, influencer diets are looking at anything above and beyond hitting your fucking protein and your macro allotments. Basically none, unfortunately. So anyways, you can check that out, as well as anything else I'm associated with, clothing company that sponsors me, and anything else down there to help support me, the brand. It's much appreciated when you guys use my links and my coupon codes and shit. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.